Hey there, how you doing? So just a quick video on keeping the main thing. So you're a recruitment or search business owner. You've been in business for one day or 50 years. So you own a business. You've started this God-forsaken cycle. Who would have thought that this kind of thing would have happened? And you may be thinking, right, if only I did this a year ago, if only I saved that money, if only I did this, and if I scaled then, etc., etc. We are where we are, and we need to accept where we are. The reality is, in this time now, there will be a lot of millionaire recruitment search business owners created. In my own mastermind, this isn't a sales thing, it's just purely meant to give some form of validation, social proof, inspiration, hope that get out of your box, because we're all in our own little homes. This can be turned into a positive. So this lockdown, this COVID, this working remote, I've got my own thoughts on where this is going to end or not end, etc., etc. I've got my own views on what's happening politically, economically, where we're going to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, even 2030, wherever we're going to go. We've got this transition happening. Some might say this fourth industrial revolution happening. And out of this, like every industrial revolution, there'll be a lot of people made very rich and there'll be a lot of people not. So one of the things that you want to try and do in these periods is to think about, right, what can I control here? What can I control? What can I control? And then think about, what do I need to achieve? So I did a video earlier and it was really focusing on not giving up, but putting focus around the client's candidate side of things. What I want to talk about right now is this. What's the number one metric you should be working to every day? So I've got a new member, really cool guy. And he came on our mastermind call on Monday. And he said, Andy, right, my LinkedIn acceptance rate is now at, I think it's 37%. So he's gone to a new niche, 37%. So 1,000 invites, 370 new connections. Then what we call three-step hop. So those then turn into appointments. His big focus was, right, that 37%, I wanted to get it to 50%. So that's an admirable outcome. And actually came from some indirect direction from myself. However, what's the real outcome here? The real outcome is to get paid, let's say, is to make 100K. So 4 placements of 25K. So the big metric that we're getting hung up on will drive the action that you're taking. Now, if you haven't got a metric, if you don't know what your metric is, then you don't know what your action is. So I'm sure you know a key performance action, a KPI, will drive a KPI, a key performance indicator. So the action drives the indicator. So you do this action with the intention of getting an outcome. So if you go back to the boiler room days, if you phone 1,000 companies and you get through to 20 decision makers, and then you get one role, you've got a metric there. You phone 1,000, 2% you get through to. Of that 2%, you get, was it 0.01 of the overall dials made, become a client. So there's a metric there. So you've got an action and a metric. So each day in your business, when you wake up, in the previous video I said about what are the 5 actions you need to take if you need clients, what are the 5 actions you need to take if you need candidates, what's the metric behind it? What's the metric behind it? So I said, I was trying to remove the overwhelm. So I wasn't going to automation, which we're known for. I wasn't trying to go into inbound that we're known for, not going to working remotely that we're known for. It was purely about getting focused and getting out of an inertia. So we talked about taking 5 actions. What would be the actual metric behind that action? So say, for example, you said, right, to get clients, the last 10 clients I got, 9 out of 10 of them, I did this action. So if you did this action, so say it was, God forbid, joining an online networking event, but that brought in clients, or it was a LinkedIn strategy, or it was a webinar strategy, or it was a podcast strategy. So for every 1 podcast you ran, you brought in 2 clients. So the last 5 clients, 5 podcasts you ran, you brought in 2 clients per podcast. So then you've got a metric. Then you look at, right, how did that actually really work out? So for each podcast, I got 2 clients. For each podcast, I had 100 downloads. So that means if I get 100 downloads for each podcast, I'll get 2 clients. So 100 downloads, so every 50 downloads is 1 client. Now, of course, there's a follow-up process behind it. But what that then means is the goal becomes, right, my podcast needs to get 50 downloads for each client. Now you've got something tangible to work with. Or it could be a webinar strategy. For every 20 decision makers who attend your webinar, or every HR managers who attend your webinar, 1 become a client. So it becomes, how do I get 20 attending my webinar? Well, normally I invite 200, 100 register, and 20 turn up. So then we've got numbers there. Invite 200, 100 register, 50% registration rate, 20% turn up, so 20% attendance rate. So then you know, for every 200 attendees with the targeted, I send an invitation to. For every 200 I send, I'm going to get 100 register, 20 attendees, X amount of roles. So then your key performance actions becomes a number. So what we're not doing when we're stuck at home and we've got 4 hours of work, what we're now not doing though is just going into our actions with our head in the sand going, right, fucking webinar, or podcast. You've got a number you need to achieve. And then what I've found in recruitment over the last decade is normally within a sort of control rate of 5-10%, if you run a strategy 3-4 times, but 3 is a point that I always look at a linear set of numbers. If you run it 3 times, unless there's a different set of clients or candidates going into that cycle, or there's a seasonal aspect, normally that strategy will become linear and fairly predictable. So what you can then do is, on the last video, we spoke about 5 actions for the clients, 5 actions for the candidates. If you've got a number behind it, each day you know, I've only got 4 hours to work, so I'm being dad, I'm being the dog walker, I'm being washing the dishes, trying not to scream at the kids. In those 4 hours, you know exactly what actions you should be taking and exactly what numbers you need to be hitting. Then if you have a problem, it will be where those numbers are not being hit. So that's where you focus your time. So rather than going to your days, again, as mentioned in the previous video, looking at branding, website, you focus on the actions that you need to get the clients, actions to get the candidates, and then what are the key performance indicators, the actual numbers you need to hit. If you're not hitting them, you know what you need to fix. So it becomes directly relatable. So you've got an input, a process, an output, it links together. So with that said, I'm just getting buzzed. So with that said, the previous video, and I'll get it in names, so there's one of part 2, I think to make sense. And that video will be around actions, this will be around metrics. This is really, really loose stuff. This is just very, very crude. We're not talking about specific. Anyone who knows me, I live and breathe metrics. Metrics should make 99% of the decisions in your business usually can be made by a metric. So we are heavily focused on metrics in your recruitment business, in your search business. But I don't know where you are now. And I'm just seeing lots of people around the world in a state of inertia, a state of frustration, a state of it's fucking over. It's not over. So let's start with some small little steps. 5 actions, 5 KPIs. There's your focus and get into this momentum. Because what will happen is when you take an action, and this is Tony Robbins at his best, when you take an action, you'll get a result. When you get a result, you'll tap more of your potential. When you tap more of your potential, you start to believe a bit more. The other way around, actually. But you tap more of your, if you believe, you'll tap more of your potential, you'll take bigger action, then you get a bigger result. You get a bigger result, you start to believe it even more is possible. So you tap more of your potential, and then you get a bigger result, and you get into this cycle. And that's what we want to do. So if you are in inertia, if you are in frustration, if you are in, this is fucking over, it's not over. As shown in the previous video. If you've not watched it, please do. That model, that law is one of the laws of business, the laws of the universe. Trust me on that. So don't give up. 5 actions, clients, candidates, KPIs to go with it. I'll keep it really simple. 5 actions, 5 numbers you need to hit. And then underneath that will be your sub-actions to make it happen. So guys, with that said again, as I'm saying at the end of every video right now, stay strong, stay strong. Being an entrepreneur is bloody tough at the best of times. Right now, it's a case of, right, who's fucking got the heart? Who's got the battle? And I think every single one on this call right now, or this video rather, was going to go through a time of fucking pain, going to give up. They're going to say, fuck it. They're going to be mentally drained. They're going to just fucking, God forbid, where people's heads are going to be. So support each other. These fucking trolls online, whatever, if you're one of them, just give people a break. Just be fucking cool to people. So I've got your back on this, and I'm sending you lots of fucking love. Keep it simple. Get out of that inertia. If you want to know a bit more about us, about our accelerator program, our build program, our scale program, reach out to us if you're in that place. If not, keep strong. Take care. Speak to you soon.